I want to ask a couple of questions though, just to hear from different departments and different sections, what you think sustainable, inclusive business looks like in your sector. So I am the questioner and this is my program.
Okay, great sustainable development include partnership,
Yes.
visibility, and recognition.
So my name is Veselina. I'm the country director for Oxford Business Group Kenya, and we're an international research company. We're dealing in over 30 emerging markets across the globe. What we do is trend analysis research on the sectors, and the way we do it is we meet with you, with the private sector, and also with the public sector and the civil society in the country. We actually have a very special partnership with Sustainable Inclusive Business today, and all the participants in the conference get a complimentary subscription to our Oxford Business Group online library.
I'm going to borrow someone's words. I'm not going to use my own. I was in the health workshop that Dr. Camino facilitated this morning. My colleague, Dr. Rono from the Treasury PPP unit, he said it in one sentence. He said, look at your revenue base and your service cost structure and make sure they gel. So in terms of sustainability from an economic point of view, how do you serve the mass market? You look at your revenue base, because in Kenya, over 80% of people are informally employed, but they do work and they're economically active. But you have to look at your cost structure. What's the bottom line of what it takes to keep your doors open? And then make sure they go together. Now, a lot of times we look at the social impact, the environmental impact. We don't pay enough attention in healthcare to the cost side. And again, because there's a lot of external funding, a lot of donors there, not enough work's been done on what it really takes to run a low-cost clinic in a working class or a poor area and make that work. So if we take a good look at, for example, the Indian model of low-cost healthcare delivery and adapt it to the Kenyan social environment, the political economy here, it can work. No one's hit that yet. So look at business models that work for poor people, but always keep the poor in mind. That's the mass market in this country. Right now, only the marginal market is served. So if we figure out how to get the mass market, we get the business model, it's going to be sustainable.
My name is Nyakan Munyeki, CEO for Timeless Women of Wonder. We realize that indeed, it's important to bring women into the conversation of development, especially if it's going to be sustainable. 2/3 of the world work is done by women, but only 10% of that income goes to women. So that's a very skewed statistic. Now, if you're looking at the role that women play in society generally, whether it's a cultural role, whether it's a business role, and whether it's nurturing of families and continuity in the nurturing of values, then it makes business sense and social sense to work through women and to channel all strategies, through these women. And one of the things we realize that is important to do, whether it's business, political, or development, is not to exclude the men.
Trends in sustainable, inclusive business.
Yeah.
Just trends.
Thank you. My name is Elfrieke van Galen. I'm from the Rock Group. We don't make music, but we work with companies to implement sustainability. Small, large companies, local, international, in different countries. To share you a few trends. What we see amongst business, it's not so much about why, but it's more about how. Question for tools. I think we've passed the why. Second trend is the trigger quite often to start with sustainability is business to business. As we're all part of a supply chain. Businesses want to start with sustainability, so they ask their suppliers. That's quite often how it starts. We see that businesses which are successful in sustainability, they really know how to embed sustainability in all their processes, being it operations, marketing, sales, across all processes. And then let's not make it too large, just start with the first step.
Let's talk about startups. Where's Robinson?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robinson Runyenje. I am here to speak about sustainable agriculture in terms of organic farming. So I won't talk about organic farming because my organization, which is 3 years old, has been developing products that are able to transit a farmer from the conventional farming to organic farming through use of our products, which are 3. One of them is for amending soil, it's a compost. The other 2 are liquid. One is a foliar and drip can use it as a drip irrigation on the soil so that it makes the soil to rejuvenate itself. And then we have the other one which is used as a foliar, and it is able to create an unconducive environment for pests and especially fungal.
Sustainable inclusive business in tourism. I hope I say this right. Jeroen Hadewig.
This region has a lot to show for it on a global scale when it comes to tourism. And so I'd like to take you up. You asked me about tourism. This morning you made some provocative remarks about tourism. So I'd like to come back to that. Basically, without tourism, the Serengeti and the Mara would be farmland. There would be no animals, there would be no natural habitat. And this is a fact. It's actually really good farmland. There's a lot of good rain, there's good grassland and all that. And countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Southern Africa, all the special ecosystems, they depend entirely on tourism almost. And like the money that is generated for the Serengeti is around $30 million. And there's no donors that make up for that sort of gap. And the government can't afford it either. Not just that, tourism is also one of the biggest employers in the region. It employs hundreds of thousands of people both in Kenya and Tanzania. It's only agriculture that employs more, and tourism typically pays better and has more international exposure. So that's a really important one. And actually tourism is an export product. It's not seen that way often, but basically what happens is that people, they come to get the product, but it's still an export product. So it's also very important for an exchange earner. But it's one of the very few industries that does that without actually extracting the natural resources, which especially in Africa I think is a really good one.